watching, the growth or not such great growth of the Asian Pacific Islander community in the halls of Congress, give us some perspective.
Sure.
How many are currently in office?
There are 5 members who are from the Asian Pacific American community in halls of Congress, 3 from Hawaii and 2 from California.
So 2 senators, 3 representatives.
That's correct, yes.
So 5 out of 535.
Yeah, about a little less than 1%.
And how large is the Asian American community
It's
now?
approximately 4% nationwide. In Montgomery County, it's about 15%. In Maryland, it's about 5-6%. So nationwide, it's about 4%. So there's underrepresentation. But given that the community is relatively young in terms of how long, generational-wise, the community has been in the United States. I mean, you see a growth of political engagement, a growth of people voting, and then now really an astronomical growth in the last 4, 5, 6 years of individuals, putting their hat in the ring and coming out to run. There are 25 candidates this year in 2012 who've put their hats in the ring. Some of them have already been eliminated because of primaries. So out of those 25, I would say maybe just a small handful will be elected. But the point isn't just to get elected. The point is to get out there, get engaged, get name recognition, and also be a leader in the community so that they become inspirations and role models for the younger community.
That needs to be encouraged because across the United States there are a number of Asian population communities right there. There are pockets. And although it's a low percentage nationally or within statewide, but those pockets should be represented, like as in Montgomery County. We have 15%, which is overwhelmingly the population of Maryland in actuality, and that we definitely need to consider that.
So, one of the questions I have though is, what about equity? I mean, what kind of barriers to entry are there for these candidates to kind of get in there and get out there? Today I heard on the radio that there's a billionaire out there who's going to be giving over $100 million to the Republican campaigns as they roll out. I mean, and it was interesting that Newt Gingrich was really railing against that. I found that quite interesting. But that said,
he received a lot of the money when he was running. So I don't know
absolutely
from his own billionaire.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So when you have that kind of money on the table, it's very. It seems to me that it's a real barrier to entry. Yeah. How does a new entrant into the community who's really trying to make it great? I mean, it seems like a huge barrier.
Well, there's barriers for every individual because you have this power of incumbency. There's a money factor, obviously. But I mean, in the community, and that's part of the education, there's also internal barriers where the parents might think politics is not a good course of profession for their kids. So become a doctor, a lawyer, engineer. But politics, my goodness, why do you get involved in that? And part of that could be the history of the countries that they come from, where politics and government is very not a pleasant thing to deal with. So there's a lot of barriers to overcome. But I think there are a lot of younger generation. One has a local, somebody running from upstate New York has a local connection. Nathan Shinagawa, his father is Professor Larry Shinagawa at the University of Maryland. Exactly right. So we've been getting bombarded with emails recently. My son's running for Congress up in upstate New York, so go support him if you can, but send in some money. And that is part of the networking that a lot of the newer communities, whether it's Asian American, whether it's Latino, that networking opportunity it's just being developed now.
Let me ask you a question, because Asian American is such a large community.
Sure.
I mean, and so Larry Shinagawa's son it comes from the Japanese American community. How willing are the Indian and the Pakistani Americans and Chinese Americans and others willing to put something behind a fellow Asian American, because there's a lot of diversity within that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a term Asian American. We have that term as sort of an identifier, but it's more the experience of being a recent immigrant, the more the experience of being an outsider, the more the experience that I think everyone shares, and all of us share, whether it's this generation or generation, all Americans share,
I think
now
that's
or
true.
Generations before.
I think that's true with any community. You have that diversity, no matter if you are African American, Asian American, Latino.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a matter of education. It's a matter of gathering the community together for common issues.
Right.
And once you have that, that's the key to moving forward, and to have someone stand up and say, well, I can help and represent that, which you should.
Even though you might not be from the exact same community, but I
Exactly.
share your ideas.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, is there an effort to recruit and train
Oh,
and
yeah,
build
sure.
capacity within the community?
There are a lot of organizations in Washington, D.C. that are doing that, exactly that, trying to get the next generation to educate them.
And
But
what
he
about-
brings up a good point. I think it's within the community itself to help educate, support, and
Sure.
bring forward those individuals who have the potential.
That's exactly right.
Because we know in the community when positions will come forward, so we need to be grooming.
Absolutely.
But also the, both the
Absolutely.
state legislature,
Absolutely.
yeah, county councils across the country, that's where it happens.
That's-